Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be treating change of subject formula, but we'll focus our attention more on formula that needs factorization. This is the third series on this topic, change of subject formula. We've been able to treat the underlying principle, we've been able to iron out formula with bracket and fraction, and this time around we are concentrating on formula that needs factorization. If you have not seen any of the two previous videos, kindly check out on our YouTube channel so that you can understand the step-by-step, the basics, and some other information that will be given out on this topic, because we are going to be coming across this topic on virtually all subjects, all topics in mathematics in one form or the other. You'll be applying them in one way or the other so that you can get the principle, the understanding behind them. Kindly check our previous video on the first two explanations on the underlying principle and formula with bracket and fraction, but today we'll be dealing with formula that needs factorization. Now we have some questions here, as you can see on the screen. We have to make this x the subject of the formula of question 1, 2, and 3. We have to make x, we have x like in two places on each question. So let's quickly see how we can deal with them, iron them out. Let's say for question number 1, we'll say solution number 1. Awesome. Now, first thing first, because we want to make x the subject of the formula, that means our x is going to stand alone. We have explained this in the underlying principle. So all we need to do is to make our x stand alone. Now, and don't forget, like I explained in our previous video, that if you are doing multiplication with alphabets like this, always put them in alphabetical order. Though if you did not put them that way, your answer will still be correct. But for sorting out, it will be advisable you put them in alphabetical order. So let's try and see how we can open this bracket. Okay, if we say a times x, a times x, it will give us what? Ax. Ax. Awesome. We have plus here. A times c will give us ac. We are trying to see how we first of all open up this bracket. It is very, very important. The next thing for us is on the right hand side. B times x will give us bx plus b times c will give us bc. Awesome. That means we have opened up this bracket. On our left hand side, as plus ac. On our right hand side, bx plus bc. The next thing now is, if you look at it, there are some, this one have ax, this one bx, this one ac, this one bc. So we can collect like terms, those that look similar, that looks alike. Let's see what we can do. We actually want to make x the subject of the formula, but we need to factorize first, because we can, before we can make x our subject formula. So we have ax here, we have bx here, this one also have x. So let's transfer this bx across the equality sign. Don't forget, the moment it crosses the equality sign, the sign will change. We have plus here. So the moment it crosses, the sign will change to what? Minus bx. Awesome. This ax is already here. We just transport this bx down here. So equal, this bc is already here. So we'll just transport this AC across the equality sign, and the sign will what? The sign will change. It will change to what? AC. It's as simple as that. Very easy. So you have your AX minus BX equal BC minus AC. It is very easy. AX minus BS equals BC minus AC. It's just for you to transfer. They are moving from one place to another, but as you are doing that, ensure you take note of the sign so that you not make mistake. Awesome. Now we want to make x the subject of the formula, but we have x here, we have x here. So let's factorize. That's the reason for this video. We factorize. So what is common between this ax and bx? X is common. X is common. So let's bring out our x that is common. X is common. So if you remove x from here, you'll be left with what? With a. You'll be left with a. If you remove x from here, you'll be left with a. Because we have minus here, that's the sign that is in between. So if you remove x from here, you'll be left with what? B. You can close the bracket. Because if you say a, if you say x times a to give you ax minus x times b to give you what? Bx. You have opened up the bracket. So equal. What is common here? You have BC here, you have AC here. That means C is common. Awesome. So if you remove C from this BC, you'll be left with B. Minus, if you remove C from this AC, you'll be left with what? A. So you close your bracket. Awesome. Now, to make our x to stand alone, we just divide both sides by this A minus B so that it can cancel out like we've been doing before. So let's get a template. That will be useful. Awesome. Up here we have this. But before then, let's see, so that for record purpose, let's divide both sides by A minus B. Let's divide both sides by what we have here. Let's bring out this A minus B. Awesome. So up here we have this. So since we are dividing both sides by A minus B, we have our equality sign here, and right here we have our C open bracket B minus A. That's what we have up there. Then at the denominator, we are dividing by A minus B. It's as simple as that. So we actually want to make x the subject of the formula. Now, since we've been able to iron out this now, our A minus B can cancel out A minus B, such that our x will stand alone. Awesome. Then we have this. Great. Our aim has been achieved. Our x is now standing alone. So it's equals to C open bracket B minus A, close the bracket all over A minus B, depending on how you actually want to leave it. But since our subject formula is now standing alone, our aim has been achieved. So let's dive straight into question number 2, because this one involves factorization like we said earlier on. So the second question now. So we come here, we say solution number 2. Awesome, that's the question. Now, we have P, open bracket, S plus Q equal 2Q, open bracket, S plus P. Now, we have to make X, this X, the subject of the formula. So we have it here, we have it here. First thing first, we open up this bracket. That's the first thing we are going to do. Awesome. So if you say P times X, it will give you PX. We have our plus in front of Q, because if you say P times plus Q, it will give you plus PQ. That's for the left hand side. Now for the right hand side, if you say 2Q times X, 2Q times S, it will give you 2QX. Awesome. 2Q times plus P, it will give you plus 2PQ. This is 2Q times P to give you 2PQ. If you say 2QP, it is still the same thing. But don't forget, I advise you put them in alphabetical order so that for clarification, if you want to sort out, it will be very easy. So 2Q times P to give you 2PQ. Now, having done that, you look at it, there are some things that you can do. You have PS here, you have PQ, 2QS, and here you have what? 2PQ. Awesome. Now, let's bring out those that has S together and those that has Q together. Let's quickly do that. Now, we have PS here. You can bring out these that we have PX here. Now, this one also has X. This one has S. So let's bring it here. Don't forget, the moment it crosses this equality sign, the sign will change, because the sign that is here is what? Is plus. So the moment it crosses this equality sign, coming to this side, the sign will change to what? Minus. So you now have 2QS. Awesome. They are just collecting like terms. Now, this one is here already. Now, this 2PQ is here already, because we have transferred this one down here. This 2PQ is here already, so let's 2PQ is here already. Now, this PQ is plus. If you transfer it across this equality sign here, it will change to minus. So we have minus PQ. Great. Now, having done that, let's see what we can do. Look at this one. PX 2QX. Something is common. X is common from these two. X is here, X is here. So that is the factorization aspect we have been talking about. Awesome. So since X is common, X is here, X is here. So if you remove X here, if you remove X from this place and put it here, what will be left is P. You'll be left with P. We have minus 2QS here. This minus, if you remove this X here, what will be left here is 2Q. Because if you say X plus X times P, you have PX. If you say X times minus 2Q, you have minus 2QX. That is the factorization that we're actually doing here. So in the bracket here, we have P minus 2Q. Awesome. So let's move to the right hand side. Now 2PQ minus PQ. 2PQ minus PQ. You can do this in two ways. You will still get the same answer. Like this is 2PQ and this is PQ. This PQ is still the same thing as 1PQ. So if you say 2PQ minus 1PQ, you'll be left with 1PQ. You are still correct because the 1 is invisible. Now, for example, if you have A, that A is actually 1A because the 1 is invisible. If you have Z, that Z is actually 1Z. Now, if you have 2PQ minus PQ, this PQ is 1PQ. So if you say 2PQ minus 1PQ, it will still give you 1PQ. That 1PQ, you can still write it as PQ. Or if you say you want to factorize, okay, what is common between this 2PQ and PQ? PQ is common. PQ is common. Is that correct? You have PQ here, you have PQ here. Okay. You can do it anyhow, you still get the same answer. If you remove PQ from these 2PQ, you'll be left with 2 minus. If you remove PQ here, you'll be left with that invisible 1. Anyhow you want to do it, it is still correct. Let's move to the next step. Awesome. So with this, if you say 2 minus 1 will give you 1. 2 minus 1 will give you what? 1. So I'm just trying to see how I can. Because if you say 1 times PQ, it will still give you PQ. 1 times PQ will still give you PQ. So that's why I said from this stage here, if you say 2PQ minus PQ or 2PQ minus 1PQ to give you PQ, 1PQ, it is still the same thing. That's how we come about this PQ that we have here. Awesome. Now that we have this, we actually want to make X our subject formula. So what is disturbing our X is P minus 2Q. P minus 2Q that is disturbing our X. So for record purpose, let's divide both sides. By P minus 2Q. Let's divide both sides by P minus 2Q. Awesome. So with that, we are going to get a template to make our job easier. Awesome. Up here, we have a X open bracket. Awesome. So this is what we have up here. X open bracket P minus 2Q. But don't forget, we're actually dividing both sides by P minus 2Q. So we have our equality sign. Then by this side, right hand side, we have our PQ. And we're actually dividing both sides by P minus 2Q. Awesome. So with that, our P minus 2Q can cancel out P minus 2Q so that our X can do what? Can stand alone. That's our aim. After factorizing, so our S can do what? Can stand alone. So our results can now be PQ over P minus 2Q. Awesome. So our X is already standing alone. Very easy. Let's go straight to the last question. Question number 3. We have to make S the subject of this formula as well. The moment we understand the underlying principle, it will be very easy for us to iron out. So let's see solution number 3. Awesome. This question says y equals x plus a over x minus a. So first thing first, because we actually have to make x the subject of the formula, and we have it at the numerator and also at the denominator. make x the subject of the formula, we need to simplify it, make it linear first. So let's cross multiply. The first thing first. I have explained what cross multiplication means. It means you are multiplying what we have at the numerator here by what we have at the denominator here, and what we have at the numerator here by what we have at the denominator here, because this y is the same thing as y over 1. So let's cross multiply. Awesome. If you were to cross multiply, it means what we have here, we multiply what we have here, and what we have here, we multiply what we have here, because there is nothing here. It is still the same thing as y over 1. So let's quickly do that. We say y multiplied by all we have here. Awesome. So we now say y times what we have here, x minus a. That's multiplying this and this. Then x plus a multiplied by 1 will still give you x plus a. So that will form our right hand side, x plus a. Awesome. Now that we've been able to do this, we need to open up these brackets that we have here. We are going to open up these brackets that we have here. So we now say y times x will give us xy. Y times x will give us what? Xy that we have here. Y times a will give us ay. Because it's minus here, we have y times minus a will give us minus ay. Ay also. That forms for our left hand side. Now for our right hand side, there's no bracket, so we just put it down, x plus a. Awesome. Now with this, we have x here, xy here, we have x. So let's collect like terms, those that look alike. This xy, we have x here, this ay, we have a here. Those that look alike, let's bring them together. But make sure while crossing them across the equality sign, their sign will change. So here we have xy here already. If this x, because it's addition that is here, if it's crossing this equality sign, it will change towards subtraction. Xy minus x, that's what we are going to have here, equal. Now this a is already here. This a is already here. Now this minus ay is coming over to this place. If it crosses this equality sign, it will change towards plus ay. Awesome. So we have xy minus x equals a plus ay. Very good. So now we need to factorize. We need to what? We need to factorize. If you are now factorizing, what is common here? X is common here. We have x here, we have x here. So if you bring out x here, you'll be left with what? With y. Minus, if you remove x here, you'll be left with just 1. Because 1 times x is x. Awesome. Equal. If you remove a from here, now a is common also, you'll be left with, if you, a is here, if you remove a from here, you'll be left with 1 plus, if you remove a from here, you'll be left with what? Y. Awesome. Because if you say a times 1 to give you a, anything times 1 is that thing, 5 times 1 is 5. Z times 1 is Z. So a times 1 is a times y will give you ay that we have here. Same thing, x times y will give you xy. X times minus 1 here will give you minus x. Anything times 1 is that thing. So now, to make x the subject of the formula so that our s can stand alone, we are going to divide both sides by y minus 1. So let's divide both sides by y minus 1. Awesome. Let's get the template. Great. So up here we have x, open bracket, y minus 1, and we're actually dividing both sides by y minus 1, and here we have a, open bracket, 1 plus y, awesome. We're actually dividing both sides by y minus 1. By so doing, you can now see that our y minus 1 can cancel out y minus 1, so that our s can now stand alone. Awesome. So we'll be left with a, open bracket, 1 plus y all over y minus 1, since our x is now standing alone. You can see that we need to factorize first. That's why this video is all about formula that needs factorization. So with this, we've been able to iron out issues, how to get our subject formula with equations that need factorization. You can always pause, rewind this video for better clarification and understanding. Kindly drop a comment with us if you have any challenge or challenges with this, any of the questions here. Kindly help us like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel, My Simple Math. And please press the notification bell so that you can always receive notification from us whenever we post a new video.